Hey everybody, it's TJ from the Nashville Wine Duo, and I want to tell you about Anchor by Spotify. It's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me tell you why. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And when hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. So if you're interested, check out anchor.fm for more information. What's up, everybody? I'm TJ.
And I'm Kelsey, and we are
the Nashville Wine Duo.
Sure.
Hey, everybody. We are coming to you from Nashville, and we have Corey Christman from Bravery Wines on the podcast today.
Yes, this is actually our first guest.
This is our first guest.
Pretty exciting.
Yes, we're so excited. We came across Bravery Wines on Instagram, and somebody was raving about it, and we reached out to them, and they sent us some bottles, and we drank the Cab Franc last night, and it blew us away, and we had to interview the man, the myth, the legend himself from Bravery Wines, Corey. So, hey, Corey.
Hey guys, great to be with you. Thanks for taking the time out to chat with us. We're excited to talk with you about wine. I can tell you guys are passionate about it, and we are too. So super excited to spend time with you.
Yeah,
too. Thank you so much.
We love the story behind how you kind of started, and we were reading on your website, and so I thought it'd be cool for you just to kind of tell your story and how you started Bravery Wines and kind of what launched you into doing that and in your history.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, about a dozen years ago or so, I started making wine in my basement, and I guess the long and short of it is I got caught the wine bug and decided I wanted to try to learn even more about the process. So I went to Washington State University for a certificate program there. And around the same time I did that, I started what you would consider to be an internship with a winery in the Finger Lakes wine region of upstate New York called Anthony Road Wine Company. And that was in 2014. And I've been there ever since. So some might say an extended internship, but long story short, we started Bravery Wines on the Veterans Day of 2020.
Oh, wow.
And so it's we're about 16 months old, give or take. But we started planning it a couple of years before that. So the pandemic delayed us a bit.
Yeah, well, I could see that happening for sure. I think it delayed a lot of people. So
yeah.
So how did you come in contact with, I mean, was the Finger Lakes kind of always a region that you kind of wanted to focus on?
Yeah, in fairness, I grew up along the shores of Lake Ontario, about an hour and 15 minutes north of Anthony Road Wine Company. And I retired from the Air Force in 2012, and I had a military friend of mine that was in Napa, and I flew out to meet with him, and we chatted for a while, and he's like, "Hey, just pack up your stuff and come out to Napa. We'll figure it out." And man, what a dream and an opportunity that would have been. But my heart was in New York State, and so I sent a blank email to an organization called the New York State Wine and Grape Foundation, and I shouldn't say a blank email, but I sent an email that just said, "Hey, listen, this is who I am. I know nothing about wine, but I have a passion to try to get into it." And about a day later, I got a email from a winemaker by the name of Peter Bell at Fox Run Winery. And the day after that, I was in his office. And
Wow.
Long story short, he introduced me to the winemaker at Anthony Road, a guy by the name of Peter B. Kraft, and the rest is history. So
that all happened like pretty fast then.
Yeah, the power of an email and the power of action, I figured that I didn't expect anybody to respond to that email because, well, I didn't have any experience. But little did I know that the Finger Lakes is made up of many transplants from around the world, people that have similar stories to mine and landed in the Finger Lakes and are making great wines. So.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about the Cab Franc that we had last night. Like, so how are you involved in all the winemaking processes and like, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been actually making wines with Anthony Road since 2014, primarily helping them make the wines that they sell. And they sell the gamut, any wine you could think of that we make there. When we launched Bravery in 2020, we started with 4 wines: a Cab Franc, a Riesling, a white blend, which was a blend of Riesling, Chardonnay, and Pinot Gris, and then a wine called Vignoble. And so fast forward to today, we have a few more selections in that, including the Cab Franc that you had. And that was what you'd call estate grown, right? Grown right on the property, and was in barrel for about 18 months. And we blended it, about 6 months or so prior to bottling. And just Cab Franc grows really well in the Finger Lakes, and we've had a lot of luck with it in the past 2 vintages for Bravery. So
Yeah, well, we really, really, really enjoyed it. And it goes for about $30, right?
28. It's actually kind of it's our most expensive wine. The rest of our wines are in that $20 range. It's just that fruit is, as you might imagine, a little more costly.
Yeah.
But I think most of the wines in the Finger Lakes are in that $18 to 18 to 28, basically. 18 being the whites and the 26 to 28s are reds.
Which is really nice, actually, for people that like, because sometimes, we'll suggest wines that obviously people can't like get like, at the average store where they'd go to, and they have to order them online. And I do feel like, when you're telling people about wines that they can order online, that's a good price point to be at. I think people don't often want to like get wine shipped to them that's like an $80 bottle or something.
Yeah, that's one of the things I try to tell wine connoisseurs about the Finger Lakes wine region is first, I think many cases folks would be surprised at the quality of wines that are being made in that wine region. And secondarily, the price point is usually much more friendlier than some areas. And so it's kind of a win-win. You're getting a great wine at a great price point, even if you're ordering online as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Yeah, you kind of launched into my next question a little bit. For a lot of listeners that don't know about the Finger Lakes region, which is on our bucket list to visit one of these days, tell everybody what makes the Finger Lakes region such a great region for the wine and the wine scene that's going on.
Yeah, well, first of all, we'd love to host you when you all come up to the Finger Lakes. Well, we can talk about that at another time, but we'd be happy to show you around. The Finger. We'll roll out the. I guess you would call it the purple carpet, maybe.
The purple carpet, we'll take
it. So if you could picture, if people could maybe imagine like they're looking at a picture of New York State, like you would see on the map. Like you're looking down at just an outline of New York State. If you go from the center of New York State, both north, south, east, west, there's a city there called Syracuse. Mm-hmm. And then if you go to the far western part of the state, there's a city out there you probably heard of called Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Well, in between Syracuse and Buffalo, there's a series of lakes that are called the Finger Lakes. And if you look at them on the map, it kind of resembles fingers, right? Like you on your hand. And there's actually 11 of them. Well, several of those Finger Lakes are wine producing regions. There's a lake called Cayuga Lake. There's a lake that we're on called Seneca Lake. And then there's some wineries on some of the other lakes as well. But the 2 largest wine producing regions in the Finger Lakes are Seneca Lake and Cayuga Lake. And then for folks who might be familiar with the Long Island part of New York, there's also a wine region down there as well. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, so, but in the area that I just mentioned, hundreds of wineries, an increasing number of breweries, a few distilleries, and just a great opportunity for everything wine.
Great.
Yeah.
And so we know the varietals that you're doing the Riesling and the Cab Franc. Other one that started with the V that you mentioned?
Yeah, there's right now we have our 2020 Cab Franc. We have a 2019 Riesling. We have a 2020 Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
And we have a rosé of Pinot Noir. And then there's a wine called Vignole, which is spelled Vignoles, which is a hybrid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
Awesome.
it's the wine when everyone says, "What's your sweet wine?" Right? The inevitable question, "What's your sweet wine?" We say, "We got one for you right here." So
that's going to be the sweeter of the four.
yeah, it's the people when you guys make it up to the Finger Lakes, or if you do some research in the Finger Lakes, you'll see that grape Vignole has been around for, geez, well, give you an idea. The wine that we make, or the grapes we make Vignole out of, are over 35 years old, and so the vines, are over 35 years old, and so it's a grape that you might not have heard of, but it makes a fantastic wine, both from a dry scale all the way to a dessert style wine. Vintage.
That's really versatile.
Oh yeah. We tend to make it at Anthony Road. We make it dry to the semi-dry. We also have every now and then we'll make it much like you would make ice wine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how has your wife taken to all of this? Does she love it?
Yeah. She one of the things I didn't mention is every time we sell a bottle of wine, we donate to at least $2.50 to a veteran, a first responder, or a caregiver cause.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah. So last year we raised $5,000 for an organization called the Yellow Ribbon Fund, which helps injured service members and their caregivers, and they're based out of Bethesda, Maryland.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So my wife is she's on the board of directors there, but she's also been involved with veteran programs, about as long as I have, about 20 years or so. So it's something we're very passionate about, but she helps with everything from selling wine to I brought some samples home a couple days ago where we're in the process of finalizing our 2021 Sauvignon Blanc, and just had to have her give me some feedback.
Yeah.
on the final edition, and so we got that narrowed down. So she's involved in all aspects of it for sure.
So she's on the tasting panel too, huh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well,
that's a good job to have.
In fairness, the wine, the Sauvignon Blanc, is actually a wine that, if you see it, I call it BB, which is the French word for baby, it's technically her wine. I gave it to her as her.
It's like her baby.
Her birthday present was a wine named after her. So
that's cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How long have y'all been married?
We've been married for 5 years in October. So
okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So excuse me, November it'll be 5 years. What am I saying? October, November. How dare I?
We won't tell her.
It all kind of starts to blur together after a while, especially the pandemic and everything. I think those years would just feel lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were the challenges? What were the biggest challenges during the pandemic, starting this business and all that?
For us, it was just trying to, again, we originally thinking about launching in Memorial Day of 2020, and it just wasn't. Things were still very unknown, uncertain at that time, and so that gave us, it kind of made us just question whether or not we should step forward. But finally, in no, by Veterans Day of 2020, we just were at a point where we just had to step out and move forward. And it was a little scary because everything was still, everything was still unknown. The wine industry, keep in mind at that point when we launched, there was no tasting, wine tasting. It was, you could walk into the winery and buy wine, but people weren't allowed to come in and taste the wines.
Right.
So for us, thankfully, we had a pretty good marketing plan, and we were able to do a majority of our sales, over the internet and through friends and family. But it was a little scary, but hey, sometimes that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Now, do you guys have a tasting room kind of area up there where people can swing in and taste this as well?
We don't necessarily have a tasting room per se, but people can purchase the wines from Anthony Road Wine Company in their tasting room.
Okay.
On occasion, what I'll do is if I know people are coming to the winery, I will meet them and I'll arrange a tasting for them.
Oh, cool.
But it's not. It's kind of something we have to coordinate in advance. Anthony Road, they are a full-fledged winery, and they have a beautiful tasting room, and so that's just kind of how we do things at the moment.
Yeah.
Just keep things separate a little bit.
Great.
So yeah.
So if people want to buy a bottle, do they buy it either from there or just through online? Is that kind of
Yeah. We ship. They can buy at Anthony Road Wine Company in person, or we ship to 37 states, and they can just hit our website at the bravery.wine and check that out. And that's we ship. We've been fortunate enough to have customers from almost every state now, so we're pretty fortunate. Every state that'll allow shipping, should I say?
Right. Yeah. Well, this has been really cool. Is there anything in the near future besides the new varietals that you have coming out with, vintages that you want to tell everybody that you're up to?
No, right now we're just working on releasing a couple more wines. That we'll actually have a Riesling, a spontaneously fermented Riesling that we're going to be releasing around Memorial Day. Pretty special wine that we're excited to get out. It's been in a bottle for a while, but it was one that was made right next to the Sauv Blanc. We knew that when it was when it was fermenting early on in the winemaking process, we knew it had the potential to be pretty special. So, that's we're excited to share that with folks.
Oh, awesome! And what's that going to retail for?
We're undecided at the moment. I think it'll probably be in that 26 to 28 range. So
okay.
Still pretty price friendly for the most part.
Great. Well, everybody check out Bravery Wines on Instagram and bravery.wine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Website, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And one of the things we should do is maybe we should offer the discount code for you guys as well. If you want, maybe we could post it in the show notes or
that'd be cool.
Great.
And that way that'll be anybody that listens to your show, they can get a chance to try it at a reduced price.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Well, we usually do the Nashville Wine Duo or Nashville Wine Duo. So
whatever.
Whatever we decide to do, we'll put it in the show notes, and we'll promote you and get some people to try Bravery Wine.
No, that'd be great. Yeah, and I'm anxious for your feedback on the other wines when you guys get a chance. Feel free.
Oh yeah, we'll post about them for sure.
No, good or bad, we just like feedback, whatever it is. So.
Yeah. I don't know. Usually if it's bad, like this is the kind of so this is like the interesting part about this is we've had people ask this question a lot. So part of it is that I think wine, it's difficult when people are like, oh, this is bad or this is good, because it's so up to that person's palate and their interpretation. And maybe there are some wines that like in general people would drink and they'd be like, okay, that sucks. But some people really love sweet wine. Some people hate sweet wine. And I don't know. That's what kind of why we have a hard time with that. It's like that Vino app, where people rate the wine.
The Vivino app.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we get a lot of
Yeah.
people where we work that do that, and they're like, "Oh, well, if it doesn't have a 4, then I'm not going to buy it." And I'm like, "Well, you should still try it no matter what."
Yeah.
I think so much to wine is just like tasting it, and I mean, from the first bottle we tried of yours, I think it's pretty like I don't believe that they're going to be bad. But yeah, I mean, usually what we do, we'll just we just won't talk about it, Like if
Yeah.
it's a bad one, we're not gonna like go out there and like talk bad about somebody because that could hurt their brand or something.
And there's
like
other
that.
people that would like that
Yeah.
wine, you know what I mean? So we don't want to put a negative kind of connotation in people's minds about a wine when it just might not be our thing, but other
Yeah.
people might enjoy it.
Well,
you know?
we've experienced that because we did work in a tasting room this last year, and we would see people that would try. I wondered. I was going to ask you this too because when you said Cayuga Lake, there was a wine called Cayuga White. I don't know if with Cayuga.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so like tons of people would love Cayuga, and other people would be like, "Oh, I don't like this at all." So it's just it's totally up in the air, kind of.
I've actually made wine with Cayuga White before, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. It's one of those wines that it's like you couldn't have described it any better. You either like it, or in many cases you don't. Most of the time, wines tend to made more with more sweetness than dryness. So
off dry, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's made in the Finger Lakes as well. Some wineries tend to use it as more of their introductory wines, or for people that are, again, passionate about wines and have a little sweetness to it. So,
well, here in the South, some of the wineries are growing Cayuga.
Yeah.
So they're becoming more and more popular down here too.
Yeah, there's definitely Cab Franc too, for sure. Cab Franc.
Yeah, I mean, Cayuga White is a grape that is from a price point, usually from what they're paying ton wise for grapes. It makes a lot of sense, a lot of business sense, because they can get a ton of grapes for relatively low cost, and then put a decent price point on the wine to where they're making a little money as well. So
yeah.
So it's well, yeah, I'm excited. I hope you guys get a chance to come to the Finger Lakes. I mean, I think travel wise, it's not very far from where you guys are in Nashville. I mean, it's probably definitely some place you'd want to fly to, unless you just don't mind driving. But it's cost wise, it's pennies on the dollar as opposed to going to somewhere out west.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely on our to-do list for sure. So now we have a somebody in the Finger Lakes that we know.
And we have the other. I don't know if you know of Hanger Wines. Hanger?
Which ones?
Hanger.
I've not heard of them.
Well, I think they're Point of the Bluff vineyards.
Okay.
They're out.
They're in the Finger Lakes too. They sent us some wine too, so we were like, "Oh, we'd like to try theirs too." But that's the only other one we tried from there. Yeah.
I've not heard of that. I don't know. Well, it's sometimes it's hard to keep up with them all. Like, I know quite a few on Seneca Lake, but outside of that, I've not ventured.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, there's probably like tons of them.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're excited you guys were able to connect with you, and like I mentioned, we'll probably be down your way here soon because our son's headed down that way, and talking to some realtors now just to see where spots are good spots to live. And
a lot of people are moving here right now, so it's been kind of difficult.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine. The past couple of times I've been down there for work. It's been an awesome time. So
yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people. We've got people that have been moving here recently, and I think Clarksville is like a really good option.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard that.
I mean, he'd have a little bit of a drive. It'd be about like a 30-40 minute drive, but you can still find something pretty, like, really decent for the price.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we'll have to definitely keep that in consideration.
Yeah.
Last time we were there at the Mumford and Sons concert there at the Preds Arena. So it was.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
a cool show.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was definitely it was a great show and a long following day if you follow. The next day was a little long, so
we feel you.
Well, we appreciate you so much, Corey, and we love your wine, and we're going to try the rest of them, and we are gonna give you some feedback.
Yeah,
on.
so everybody go check out Bravery Wine on
Yeah.
Instagram and on the internet.
Yes.
And it's good talking to you, brother.
You too, and look forward to chatting with you again real soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do it real soon.
Have a good
Okay.
night.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.